always was driving into them how important it was for them to take care of their wife and their children and their family, and how that's very important, and how respect and communication and all of these things were, and that they didn't have to pick up bad habits from other people just because they were around other people. You know what I'm saying? They can always have their own mind and their own thoughts. And that was good. And sometimes they took it too far because then they want to be extremely too independent, not listen at times. However, I do get it. You know what I'm saying? I do get it, because that's how I raised them, to to think independently, even though I wanted them to take a lot of the stuff that they were being taught into consideration.
Well, that's just being human.
Yeah.
Sometimes too. You think you've been through enough and you've learned it all, you know it all, and then just like I said, we come right back to our parents saying, "Oh, hey, we."
Hey, I'm still learning. I just turned 50.
Exactly.
And I keep learning. And not only do I keep learning, I keep telling you guys, I'm like, I learned this and I learned that. Why? Because I want you to also know, don't wait until you're my age to learn these things. You know what I'm saying? While I'm learning, I want to expose you guys to those things too. So you get quicker to resolving whatever questions you may have, right?
Regarding life and stuff.
Absolutely.
I feel like
100%.
There's stuff that you teach us, and there's also stuff that we can teach
you.
you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I love it.
Makes the world go round.
Yeah. And I love it. And that's the reason why we're always having, I love having our conversations, because they're always in depth. They're always in like funny, and we can laugh at each other and see how we're all are. Now, from you, what do you feel changed when you became a Mrs. versus just being a girlfriend?
I like this question. I feel like the dynamic that I had kind of made me feel to have this level of independency. And so coming to Florida, it's me, it's my career, it's my future, it's my this, it's my that. And don't get me wrong, I feel like majority, you know, you want to have your princess fairy tale moment where you find your significant other, you settle down, you get married, you have the babies, and do all these things. I guess the one thing that I've definitely learned is to balance the level of independence and realizing it's also okay to ask for help and be submissive and vulnerable, and just having that person that can understand the combination of both just coming at you like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Because
because that's a difference. That's very different. It's a difference between boys and girls, where boys are we and I see this more clear. We teach boys to be independent. You have to be the head of the house. You need to do these things. We kind of teach that also to our girls, but we're doing it under the parent. So you're used to your parents, as you were young, tell you what to do. So even when you don't want to do it, you do it. But when you have to submit to somebody else that is not your parent, that's going to challenge you as a person, because at that point you got to, do I believe what he believes? Do I think he's going to take me the right way? You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't realize that when a girl's leaving her dad, now she has to submit to somebody else. She knew her dad got her. And I know your dad got you because you his baby. However, you know what I'm saying, to trust someone else to have the same value for you, as well as to take care of you to that degree, is a very big thing. And so I think sometimes women or even guys don't really think about it that much until now you're there and you're like, oh, without even thinking about it, oh my God, but that's not how my dad did it, or that's not how, because my dad sometimes let me get away with these things. You're not going to because you can't. At that point, it's a different dynamic, right? And so doing that, how did you feel, Jonathan, walking now into the role of being a husband, but she already has an idea, because she's very close to her dad and stuff. Was that a challenge for you?
Of course not. Like I said, I was born to husband material.
And how was your relationship with like Thomas and stuff? Because I've seen that mature.
I've changed his life. I was the son that he's always wanted.
He's peeking around the corner. Don't worry, I'm going to interview the in-laws because we get along very well. However, yeah, but even like that, because I even see like the relationship grow even more because you guys have
Oh
always been
yeah.
pretty
You know what helps?
communicate. What?
Anime.
I know that was gonna come up at
Oh, for
some
sure.
point. At some point, having mutual hobbies and stuff like that helps a lot. But I think the level of respect that you've always had for him and he always has for you, I think that as your hobbies came in, it helped flourish more. Because I see you
Oh
guys are
yeah.
even tighter than what you've always been. Because you've always been very respectful,
Oh
and
yeah.
he's been the same way. But I think over the years, you guys have gotten even closer,
Yeah,
and
well,
you can literally see that.
the anime was like a cherry on the top. I could
Yeah,
definitely tell like the difference from like what he was or how he treated.
was
It's not like he treated me in a different type of
yeah,
way, but it was
it's
more
getting
so
more
like
comfortable.
the energy
Yeah,
was like,
that's
maybe
my
you
boy.
are my son.
And I know that's very important to you. I know that you having that type of relationship with him is very important to you, as I know it's very important to you as well, Nisa. But I know that for Jonathan, that was very important to have be that close. It's even on a dad perspective, right? It's very important for him as well.
I express tenfold how tight of a unit I think the foundation that we have with my parents
Hmm.
is, and so yeah,
Yeah.
you've acclimated nicely.
Or
Yeah.
rather, they've acclimated to me.
Also, hey,
Yeah,
touche.
hey,
Touche.
I'm the whole
it's
character.
been a
Yes,
two-way thing
absolutely.
because all personalities have to
You don't
mesh
realize
together.
how much you end up finding someone that is similar to
I
at least
know,
one of your parents until
I
you're really in
know,
it.
I know.
And more so this year, more than ever, I'm like,
Yes.
am I sure I'm the daughter in this house right now? Like, is it them two versus me? But you know what?
But
They're
he needed his ally. Like your
oh,
dad
100%.
need his dad. Your dad needed his ally. It's like, hey, I got my guy here, so it's gonna be okay.
Oh yeah, peas in a pod. Peas in a pod. I couldn't ask for it to be. Well, I already know it'll get better in the future.
Oh
It's
yeah,
only gonna
for
get
sure.
better and crazier.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
especially
Anya's
with
gonna be on our
Anya's
side.
here.
She's
yeah.
gonna be on our side.
Anya's gonna be on the guy's side.
Yep,
With
100%.
between dad and
Aw,
grandpa, it's all gonna be. Don't worry. But when it's time to go shopping, she's be like, "Ma,
Right?
grandma, where
The
you
nails
at?"
done.
She's like, she's gonna be a very well-rounded young lady
Absolutely.
for sure. So I'm gonna turn a little bit towards Faith. Um,
Our
in
sister?
no, not your sister Faith,
Oh.
but our faith, our belief. So even though, and I did it in the pod with Ezekiel before, even though I didn't raise the kids like going to church every day and stuff, that was something that was very instrumental. I always talk to the kids about God and praying and stuff like that. And so I think that over time, at some point in our life, we're going to have to lean into something that feels that's stronger than us and can get us through the other side, right? And I know that when Jonathan was struggling a little bit when he was younger, like where do I place my emotions and how do I deal with the two different lifestyles that I live, because he lived a different lifestyle with his dad that he lived with me.
Right.
And so to have to navigate that very earlier on, we talked about praying. And so that was always, I need pray. Like the minute something's feeling like it ain't the right thing, we got to pray. To this day, him and I had a conversation a couple of nights ago. And I'm like, babe, we had the conversation. I'm like, okay, and I'm going to pray for you. You know what I'm saying? I think that even if we weren't in church all the time, that was very important for me to know that there was something stronger and bigger than us that can lead us. And so, how do you guys feel through your life, how faith or your belief has, you know what I'm saying, impacted you to where you guys are now? Because you guys are very young still. You guys are under 30.
I'm 30.
He's 30. But 30 and under. How about we put it at that? And so I just wanted to know how has that played a part in your life?
Faith?
Faith, yeah. How has let's start with you, Jonathan. How
As
has
long
faith?
as I have faith, everything shall go well.
Hmm. Is that that's how you
Yep.
process everything?
Yep. 100%. I go about it with work. I go about it with my marriage. I go about it with my feelings. I go about it with my life. Just keep on having faith, and everything will just turn out.
And that's the reason why you're so kumbaya about it. That's why you are so sold, and which it's amazing to me because I think about it, and you and I have had multiple conversations about this. Because at first I think that was a little bit like, but why aren't you like upset and worried? And he's like, because I have faith. And it's like just the way he says it, it's like sometimes he does it to me too, and I'm like, but what? And he's like, well, and so I want to hit him over the head, but however, that's just his nature, which I love. I love that. I think it gives us like, okay, we need to chill out, because if he's okay, then it's gonna be okay. So I'm very grateful that his faith is that way. It's like, hey, I have faith that it's gonna work itself out. And how do you feel? And how do you feel like growing up and like learn? Because it's a little bit of a different dynamic. So how did you?
And so growing up, I feel like I had just
getting
yes, it's the baby. It's not me. It's the baby. I feel like I was raised Catholic, and so church was not something that was very often. Growing up, and just a lot of the kids in the community, they would prefer to go to Christian church. We had the little concert feeling with small groups, and so I'm learning two totally different aspects to the Bible, to God, just my relationship with God. It wasn't till I got older, and even more so just kind of finding my own way, but just understanding like, not that it doesn't matter about going to church, but as long as I feel God's presence, that I'm taking that in, absorbing it, really understanding it for myself, because at the end of the day, nobody needs to understand what my relationship with God is. That you have yours, I have mine, and I'm going to keep mine as close-knit as I can, especially for myself, the foundation that we have, the foundation that our family has. I know recently a lot, I don't want to say it wrong, the phrase of like faith in a mustard seed. And I feel like that's where Jonathan is so like less is more when it comes to it, because if you have just that faith, bit,
he's like I don't need a lot, I just need this much.
Then it does the absolute world. Whereas I'm such a try to release the anxiety, I try to not be a worry wart, but you can't help it. So as an individual, I just, not that I tunnel vision myself on my relationship, I also try to make sure that I include him a little bit on just the worries and everything. And that's what kind of brings us together, that it's like, you know what, we need to take this time to have our faith, bring it together, bring these ideas together, and just really let him know, let him see, let him feel. And I feel like God kind of gives that back in return.
Absolutely. I think that it's very important when it's good to know that when you enter in a relationship with somebody, you respect where they're at with their faith. And I think the best example that we can give is how we live our individual life. And I think that you and I have had this conversation before. You were like, he's just so chill, and I'm over here worrying. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much how he is. However, we've always had the conversation, how can we meet each other in a place where you feel acknowledged of the craziness that you're going through, and him still not backing off on his faith, but just the acknowledgement of it all. And so I think that sometimes, not you guys necessarily, but I've seen sometimes people, it's like, if it's not at the level that I'm at, then, well, you know what? Not every time we're going to be at the same level. There's going to be days that you're going to be positive, and you're going to be like, we got this, honey. And there's days, that he's going to be able to say that, you know what I'm saying? But the foundation of it all is that you still believe that God is in control. And even me to this day, there's days where you acknowledge him, but you don't put him first before something. And I think that that's where we all start feeling some type of way about situations or getting anxiety or anything like that. But the minute we're like, but God, I know I didn't invite you into it, but I am now. Can you please help me? It does happen rather quickly, and we don't even realize it sometimes. And then 2 minutes later, you're like, okay, I'm not feeling as overwhelmed as I felt before.
He works in mysterious ways.
And
He's
very
gonna
quickly.
catch us slipping real quick.
Yes.